Oh, it's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and jail to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary, 'cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid. But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee. Dee-dee, a fwit-dee-dee-dee-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Ya-da-da-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Adventures waiting further down the road.
Let's go!
Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Good evening, friends, and welcome back to Gothic Horror Gaming. I am your host, the Gloom Master, here on Nat 21 Adventures. A couple of things before I get any further at all. This is, in fact, a horror game. So we are dealing with scenes of violence, things of common phobias, blood, gore, that sort of thing. So if that is not your cup of tea, we completely understand. Feel free to check out some of the other wonderful shows here on Nat 21 Adventures that might be a little more lighthearted and to your liking. But if you're here for the horror, you are in the right place. Speaking of Nat 21 Adventures, let us talk about our sponsors. First of all, renadventures.com, our perennial sponsor. They have a host of different tours that are going out, some gaming related and some not. Our more recent one coming up here soon is in December 5th through the 9th in New Orleans. You will play Dungeons and Dragons and tour all sorts of graveyards, wonderful sights and sounds and smells and tastes in New Orleans. And it will culminate ultimately in a trip to the Louisiana Renaissance Fair, where many of the dungeon masters and also the people that you see here on the channel will be performing. So be sure to check that out. Go to renadventures.com. We'd also like to thank our friends at 3D2U. Our friends at 3D2U, they are our friends Jesse and Amy. They are making all sorts of wonderful crafts for gaming specifically. Dice towers, journals, dice boxes, that sort of thing. They've helped us out a lot, especially with some more of the forensic sides, as Amy is now a holder of a master's degree in forensic science. So we've referenced her on the channel a lot. Check them out at 3d2u.org. And also ourselves, myself, the Glue Master, and my wife, who is in the background, running the channel from the back scenes there, Handler Z. We have a book. And it's a collection of short fiction and poetry, primarily horror, a little bit of sci-fi, some dark romantic poetry as well, that Handler Z has written them and put them together into a book, which you can see right there. You can find it on Amazon either as a Kindle version or as a paperback that you can physically order. And it also is an audiobook that I narrate. So you can find that on audible.com. So please check it out there. Now, a little bit about tonight and the game that we are playing and the game system that we are using. We are set in the Chill universe. Chill originally was a Mayfair game, tabletop role-playing game from back in the 80s, and it changed hands several times. It is back now. We are using their universe, and in that universe, the supernatural, as they call it, the unknown, is very real, very dangerous, and usually very evil. It exists behind the scenes. The general public is not aware, but it does encroach into our lives. There is an organization called SAVE, the Society of the Silver Way, which was formed by a bunch of gentlemen back in the 1700s and into the 1800s to combat the unknown, rather than be rich men who decide to take frivolous voyages into space. They chose to fight the unknown and try to prevent its incursions into our lives. So SAVE is an organization that exists. They are not a government organization. They are privately funded individuals. That will be important in a little while. Furthermore, we are not using the Chill rules, but we are using the rules of a game called Over the Edge. Over the Edge was another indie game back in the, I believe it started in the late 80s into the 90s. Their rule system is one that I particularly like. The rule system is very simple. Every character or monster or whatever has 3 traits, a primary trait and 2 side traits. And now these traits can be anything and can be very broad. Then anything you try to do, you would see if it falls underneath one of those traits. And that will determine how many 6-sided dice you get to roll in order to hit a target number and succeed at whatever you are doing. So, for example, we have a police officer who moonlights as an amateur photographer and is also a stamp collector, let us say. Those are his 3 traits that he has chosen. Now, if he goes to shoot his gun, that would fall under his primary trait, which is police officer. So he would get to roll 4d6 to hit the target number. Now he's trying to take a picture and have it not be blurry and capture a moving target. that would fall under his side trait of amateur photographer. He would roll 3d6. Now, if he was trying to do something that does not fall underneath any of his skills, let us say he is trying to rewire a fuse box. Well, he has no particular expertise. None of that falls under his traits. He would get to roll 2d6 and attempt to hit a target number. Combat works similarly, in which you compare the numbers between the combatants to see whether a shot hits or not. If it does hit, the amount of difference between the dice dictates the damage, subject to multipliers depending upon the weapon. It's not really that worrisome. We'll glaze right on through it. It's very simple. Now then, you watching on Twitch particularly can affect the outcome of the game. You do that by spending your Twitch points with Sir David Percival over there on Twitch. Hello, Sir David. He's helping us out, keeping track of all the Twitch points. And you can use those Twitch points to buy helps. When you buy a help, you say who you want to give that help to when you spend your Twitch points. So you can give it to one of the characters. You can say Bob is one of our characters, let's say. So you want to give Bob a help. You just type in that you want to give help Bob, spend your Twitch points. That will be kept track of in a tracker. And if Bob would like to use your help, he declares before he rolls, and that gives him an additional die to what he would normally be rolling. However, he still only takes the maximum amount of dice of what he would normally have. For example, he's shooting his gun, but he wants to really make sure this shot is very important. So he chooses to spend a help. So if he's that police officer, instead of rolling 4d6, he would roll 5d6 and then take the highest 4, adding them together. So it's a way to boost the score. You can also give those helps to me if you want to be dastardly for any of the horrible things that they might encounter that are attacking them. So please keep that in mind as we move forward. The game itself is set in October of 1936. We are in the South Pacific, Australia to begin with, to be more specific. Our players are gathered around in the general Australia area, and they are about to have a visit from someone from Save. But we're going to start off first with our resident archaeologist and all-around adventuring type, Montana Smith. Montana Smith.
Hey, just watching the Australian national team take on New Zealand. It's fantastic. I'm here for some international football, so it's a good time.
Very well. You are watching the game in Sydney, and as you are dealing with some rowdy fans that are off to the side, that you're trying to enjoy the game. On your right-hand side. On your left-hand side, a gentleman jostles up next to you. And as you turn and look, you see a gentleman in a very nondescript suit, which is odd in the heat. Dark hair, but graying around the temples. He's of indeterminate age, clean-shaven. And you recognize him as he extends his hand and says, yes, Dr. Smith, it is good to see you again. Allow me to reintroduce myself. Gordon Pym.
Ah, Mr. Pym. It's been a little while since we've seen each other. How can I help you?
Yes, I have something that actually falls directly in your expertise in this region of the world. And do you have a moment? I see that there's an injured player on the field, and they might be a few moments. Can we step aside for just a moment?
Yeah. Sure, absolutely.
He walks you out into the causeway area and says, we have a very specific need right now. Save has become aware of an item, an artifact, if you will, that is somewhere in the Philippine area, just to the north of us. And we need it back before the wrong people get a hold of it. It is an archaeological artifact. And we figured that this would be perfect. You've helped us out so many times before that acquiring this would be right in your wheelhouse.
All right. Well, what is it? Is it something Roman? Is it maybe Greek, Egyptian? Something really mysterious.
Well,
Can't be from India though. Can't be from India.
it's actually even more mysterious than that. It is European, but it is tied to here. I'm going to give you a packet of information. He pats himself down and eventually discovers inside his coat pocket a sealed manila envelope, folded very tight with a rubber band around it. I will trust you to look at this at a later time, not here in public, if you don't mind. But
Not at all.
I am arranging a team and transportation for you. You'll see inside that envelope there's a plane ticket for you that will take you to Darwin on the north coast, where you will meet up with everyone else, if this is acceptable to you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the adventure. Is there anything? I'm a little short on funds right now.
You will
Anything in
find
terms of cash?
you will find $200 in U.S. Cash in that envelope. He says in a low voice.
Well, that's a great start. Thank you very much.
When the artifact is recovered, it is small. When it is recovered, I would very much like to meet you back in Darwin.
Great. I will see you there.
Very good. It looks like the players back up on their feet. I don't want you to miss the rest of your game. The flight's not until tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of the match.
All right. Thanks very much, Mr. Pibb.
You're very welcome. Oh, and proceed with caution.
Well, you know me.
Yeah, yes, unfortunately, I do. And he turns and disappears into a crowd of people. Meanwhile,
swear you made that happen.
Meanwhile, in Brisbane, Dr. Sabine is busy, very busy. She is inoculating children, I believe.
May we, of course? The poor children in Brisbane have not had access to this particular vaccine, which was just made available for whooping cough, I believe it is called.
Indeed. You are in a clinic. People are bringing their children in to be inoculated, and as you progress, a succession of small arms that you are inoculating. It becomes almost mechanical at a point where you are just inoculating. At this point, I believe they have the gun inoculations they were using for polio. So you're just using one of those. And as you are going, all of a sudden a large arm presents itself that is clad in a nondescript suit coat sleeve. You look up and there is a nondescript man, dark hair, graying around the temples, clean shaven, and you recognize Gordon Pym.
Monsieur Pym.
Yes, he awkwardly kisses you back. He doesn't seem to quite know what to do. He blushes slightly. He says, yes, do you have a moment?
Yes, I believe I have an assistant here who could take over for me.
Yes, ma'am, I can take over for you.
Merci. Yes. All right, Mr. Pym.
He steps to the side and motions you over. So we have need of your special talents once again. We have heard of an artifact in the Philippines that Save desperately wants to secure before it falls into the wrong hands. We've already employed a gentleman to assist us, Dr. Smith, who is an archaeologist, to help guide the way. But I believe your medical expertise would be invaluable, especially all of your work in tropical climates might be very useful for the team if you can find some time to step away for a week or so.
But of course, you know me, I'm always down to help save whenever I can.
I would very much appreciate it. He pats himself down, confused again for a moment, and then reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a manila envelope. The details are in here. Please open it in private. He leans in close. There's also $200 in cash in there to cover your expenses. There is a flight from here in Brisbane over to Darwin, where you will meet up with the rest of the team. Their names are included in the dossier inside.
Très bien. Merci beaucoup. I shall have to arrange someone to take over my position here, but I do not think it will be a problem.
Oh, he looks over your shoulder. I believe it's already been taken care of, and you see a doctor that you last saw in Hawaii is suddenly there, and he has already begun the inoculations.
As always, you are so very prepared, Monsieur Pym.
Well, I try. Safe journeys. Thank you so much for your help. And as always, proceed with caution.
Bien sûr, always.
He turns, opens up a janitor's closet, and walks inside, closing the door behind him. The door does not reopen.
Quelle quixotique.
Well, the next day, in Darwin, Australia, at the Wharf Rat Bar, one Lucas Evans is looking at the afternoon crowd. Crowd, I say, there's 5 people here.
Terry, good to see you.
Yes, Terry, Bruce, and Bruce are all here, as well as Sheila.
Sheila, Bruce. Where's your brother Bruce? All right.
Very well. As you are wiping down some glasses, as in the traditional bartender fashion, you hear the door open, the creak of the springs on the door to keep it shut, to keep the mosquitoes out. And in walks a man, nondescript, gray suit, graying at the temples. It is Gordon Pym. You recognize him. You have dealt with him before. And he comes up to the bar and says, Mr. Evans, it's good to see you.
Is it?
Actually, it is, Mr. Evans. He leans over the bar. Can I get a gin and tonic, please?
Well, I'm sure if you were going to be here. Here. So you've proceeded.
Interesting. That is definitely a different bouquet. Huh. Interesting. Yes, so he looks around, makes sure that none of the other patrons of the bar are very close by. He says, Save needs your help again. There is an artifact that has surfaced in the Philippines that we desperately need to secure before the wrong people secure it. And we have an archaeologist to find the actual artifact itself, but your expertise and your improvisational skills,
thank you,
would be incredibly useful, I believe, on this endeavor if you can find yourself free for the time being.
I think I can manage it.
Oh, good. Oh, that is wonderful to hear. I actually have taken the liberty of having the other team members meet you here at your bar later on tonight.
So we're expecting company. Well, I better roll out the red carpets.
Looks more of a dingy gray, but fine.
No, I mean I have to move the carpet for the booth. So we can use the booth.
Oh, that's understandable. Yes. Here, he fumbles for a moment, reaches out, pulls a manila envelope out of his coat. The information that you require is inside, as well as a small stipend of $200 to provide any of your needs upon this endeavor.
Oh. Well, certainly I can accommodate our whatever guests you want to send to me.
There shall be 3. A Dr. Smith, a Dr. Sabine, and a Mr. Boyd.
All right.
As always, proceed with caution. He makes a slight grimacing face, shoots down the whole drink in one shot, sets it down, blinks for a moment.
I forgot the tonic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that will make the trip to Morocco interesting. And he turns around and he walks out the door. Yes, there you go. To give you an equivalent in today's money, how much $200 is. Meanwhile, not far away in the small town of Cairns on the north coast of Australia is one Speedy Pete Boyd. For those of you playing along at home, this is the first time that the other players have seen Speedy in the flesh.
Hello, friends.
Speedy, you are busy with your seaplane.
Ah, yes, the loon.
The loon. You're doing
Yes.
a little tinkering on the loon, getting things squared away. You're floating at the small port in Cairns, and you hear a slight clearing of the throat, and I didn't realize it took a 5/8 spark plug.
Ah. Oh, I see you know your engines.
As you turn around, it is in fact Gordon Pym. You recognize him.
Ah, yes.
Huh.
Didn't expect you for a mechanic, my friend.
Oh, I assure you, you are far more the mechanic than I. I just find it useful to know a little bit about everything.
These things will get you around the world.
Indeed, as your sturdy loon has.
Indeed.
We at Save need some help.
Yeah, I didn't think you came out here to look at spark plugs.
No, I did not. There is an artifact that has surfaced in the Philippines that we need to acquire before someone else of a nefarious bent does. I have retained the services of a Dr. Smith, an archaeologist, who will be able to help guide you to it, a Dr. Sabine, who is a medical professional, and also a Mr. Evans, who is very handy in most situations. But they lack transport. Would you be interested in assisting Save? Yet again, I can offer you the sum of $200 in order to cover your expenses.
Yeah, for happy to help.
Very good.
I always save a lot, so.
Indeed you do. Not far away, they are in Darwin, so that's pretty much just a day's flight, I suppose, for you. They will meet you at the Wharf Rat Bar in Darwin.
Mm-hmm.
They will be there tonight, if you can be there tonight as well.
I can get there. I can be airborne in under 15 minutes.
Very good. Well, good luck, and proceed with caution. He walks down to the edge of the dock, where he enters a small rowboat and begins rowing off out to sea until you lose sight of him around a point of land.
That seems like him.
That evening, Mr. Evans is working at the Wharf Rat again when in walks Dr. Smith, Dr. Sabine Clement, and also Speedy Pete Boyd. The rest of the establishment is pretty much emptied out at this point.
Yeah, I've got a corner booth all ready for them. It has it says I've written reserved on there, but the rest of the place is empty. It's my own little.
Just for your own little.
Yeah.
Very good.
Huh.
They entered the establishment.
Well, maybe I should have installed a hat rack
I believe we have a reservation.
right this way.
It's 1936. We're all wearing hats. It's fine.
You have looked in your packets, and in your packets, the object in question is a silver key, apparently, of about 6 inches in length. Somewhat ornate, but not overly so. No, there are no gemstones or anything. It's just simple silver. And the description says that it was a key that was in the possession of Ferdinand Magellan. Ferdinand Magellan, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is this fellow here, if I can get a picture of him. The first European known to circumnavigate the globe. That is pretty much all the information they have.
Not even where to start looking for this?
It just says the Philippines.
Oh.
That's
All right.
general.
That'll, yeah. All right. Well, this seems like this is high on Pim's to-do list. So why don't we head to the Philippines as soon as we can, and we could figure out the rest of the plan while we're in the air.
Sounds good to me.
So the Philippines is a large area.
Are we?
Consisting of over 2,000 islands. Yes, it was in a manila envelope.
Oh, boo.
I was holding back on that joke.
But also, yay.
So we know.
But also,
Yes.
boo.
You are welcome.
So are
Manila
we
is the capital.
going there?
Currently, the Philippines are
Good.
only
Good.
recently gained their provisional independence from the United States. It was a Spanish colony until the Spanish-American War. One of the spoils of war from that war that went to the United States was ceding the Philippines, and only recently has the United States agreed to a 10-year provisional government and then full independence thereafter. So at this point, they're in their first year of their provisional government, but it is still primarily administered by the United States.
Right.
Again, the capital being Manila.
Well, that's as good a place to start as any. We could head to universities and go through libraries.
So we've got 2 doctors. What are you guys doctors of?
Well, I am a doctor of medicine.
Oh, you're a doctor.
Indeed, I am.
Yeah, I am archaeologist, PhD.
Mixologist.
Oh,
My
very
favorite
handy.
my favorite kind of doctor.
Mm. Indeed.
A Dr. Feelgood, if you will.
Well, Dr. Smith, you it seems like you might have at least a rough idea of where to look for this sort of thing.
Well, it's always it's always good to start looking in a good book.
Dr. Smith, you are an archaeologist. You can give me an archaeologist role in order to attempt to suss out what you might already know about this.
Excellent. That'll be
Ferdinand Magellan
4d4.
is a fairly famous individual.
Sorry, 4d6.
For you, yes, 4d6, as you are
Excellent.
an archaeologist by trade.
All right. That's only an 11.
11. You know Ferdinand Magellan was killed on an island in the Philippines during his voyage around the world. He was killed by indigenous peoples, and that his body was never recovered.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to have to get out there. Heck, maybe we'll even find if he has a grave. Although, if I remember correctly, his head might have been cut off.
While he's talking about books, I'm scrolling my Rolodex to think of any places where there'd be large crates of things that people don't necessarily want found, or things that if a new government is there, something that perhaps they don't want to be something not found right away. Just and if I remember anybody from my business dealings.
All right. Go ahead and roll me for that trait that you have. You may roll for that.
I'll just go to the Silver Mount here. 15.
15. You do know that there is a thriving black market in Manila, and has been for quite some time. And you do, in fact, have a black market contact in the Philippines. You've not ever dealt with them directly, but yes, that's right. The Silver Mount is 4 genres west of here. You are correct. That's a Pathfinder adventure, in case anybody was curious. But Bayani Lim, I will put his name in the comments so you can see it. Bayani Lim, sorry, is a middle-level operative in the black market in Manila.
Okay.
I would like. Oh, sorry. Are you finished,
Indeed.
Mr. Evans? Fantastic. I would like to use one of my traits to see if there's anything that I could know about this key potentially. If it has kind of popped up before in Steve's Rolodex, I guess.
For in Save's archives, because you are actually tapped into Save's archives a bit.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead and you may roll for that as well.
Okay. 13, please.
You vaguely remember that Magellan had a silver key.
Great.
That's really, and that it was never. He set sail with it from Spain, but it never returned to Spain.
Okay.
Thank you for the helps.
Indeed. Merci.
Tu parles français, eh? Moi aussi.
Quoi? Qu'est-ce que tu peux dire?
Ah, merde.
Very well. The evening passes, and in the morning, you are prepared to fly.
Excellent. Mr. Evans, I'm going to need you to climb out on the wing and spin the propeller until I say contact. Just hang on until we're airborne, and then we can pull you back in. I'm kidding, of course. This thing starts on its own.
You dangle that out in front of me. You dangle a good time like that out in front of me.
So is there anything that any of you want to be taking along with you as you depart from Darwin, Australia?
Yes, I've not only do I have my the stipend, I've got some money as well, and I've some weapons, eh? Would you like to know what they are right now?
I do not need to know what they are right now, but please write them down so that you have them. As long as it is not excessive, a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun, those sort of things, a knife are easily to come by in in a commonwealth established by convicts. So not a problem. Those are readily available in Australia.
Mhm.
Anybody else have anything in particular? Dr. Sabine, I know you have your medical kit.
I do indeed. I would like to have it fully stocked. I would also like to purchase some mosquito netting.
That is readily available, so yes.
Excellent. I would like to buy mosquito netting for everyone, not just for myself. And no, I think that is sufficient for now. Oh, some distilled water, if I can get that.
It takes a little bit, but yes, you can get some distilled water.
Perfect.
It's a little harder to come by in 1936.
Indeed.
Montana Smith, anything in particular you are traveling with?
Machete, pistol, backpack with archaeologist tools such as the brush, hammer, pick, diary, and I have time to stop at the school in Darwin to pick up a little primer on Magellan or anything to see if there's anything I can suss out in there?
Go ahead and roll me your archaeologist roll, and I will see if there's anything that is very specific or relevant.
23.
Holy
Wow.
crap. You find a biography of Magellan with that. I rolled a difficulty to see how hard it would be, and you find actually a
Silver key, and the game is over.
and thank you and good night, everyone. No, you do find a biography of Ferdinand Magellan.
Great. So I have all that on me. Read through the biography on the plane ride.
Very well.
And all that.
Speedy, beyond your plane itself and the tools you need to repair it and maintain it, is there anything else that you possess?
I have a firearm. I have my diving knife. But beyond that, just the normal gear that would be in the plane.
Okay. For those of you who do not know, because I have not shown this yet, this is the plane in question, the Loon. It is a seaplane that first, I believe, went into service in 1930. It seats 6 and has a range of about 800 miles.
I have a nice, mostly black paint job on it with some white speckles on it to kind of complete the look of the actual Loon. The interior is immaculate. Please, no food and drink inside. I do not want to damage the interior at all. Yeah.
Very well.
No beverage, no drinks, no snacks.
Okay, all right. Look, if you have to, that's fine, but just don't spill anything.
What a hunk of junk.
Excuse me? And for the record, it is a float plane, not a seaplane or a flying boat. Those are different things.
Yes, to be pedantic about it, there are wheels underneath those pontoons, so it can actually land on a runway as well.
But yeah,
it is
float plane has the pontoons like the Loon does, as opposed to a flying boat, which would be like the PBY, which is the hull makes contact with the water.
It belly lands. So, and you take off. Where are you going?
Manila. That's the plan, right?
I default to Dr. Smith.
Yeah, that seems to be the best single place to go. We don't know exactly where Magellan was. We don't know exactly where Magellan was heading. Was killed by Lapu Lapu, but Manila is as good a place to start as any.
You will have to stop and refuel along the way, somewhere in Indonesia, most likely. But you can make it with one stopover to refuel, and again, you have plenty of cash for the refueling.
Will we be stopping in Cape Suzette with their cliff guns?
Do not know where that is.
Just because of
Tailspin.
reference.
I
That-
see.
Is that it's Don Carnage's headquarters, isn't it?
No, his car. He has the airship. I mean, everybody knows that. Come on.
Sorry, I don't know what else.
We're dangerously dancing with some very valuable IPs, everybody.
It's true. It's true. Be careful, please. Be careful. You do have to stop in Manado in Indonesia. It's about halfway. It's a significantly sized town. Give me, Speedy, a roll for your piloting just to make sure that nothing goes horribly awry.
Gentleman's 12.
Good enough. You make the jaunt to Manado and can refuel there, and then continue on to Manila, unless you want to do anything in a small Indonesian town in the middle of the Pacific. I did not think so.
Keep
Very
it
well.
clean.
Carrying
Keep it
on.
clean, Lucas.
I mean, I kind of do, but
Oh, if you want to tell me, speak
no.
up now.
It's we're good.
All right. It takes you about an hour to refuel and tune everything back up. So you do, in fact, arrive in Manila. Manila at this time looks a little something like this. It is a fairly large, thriving city. It is on Manila Bay, obviously, surrounded. The bay itself is surrounded on most sides completely. It almost closes off. If anyone is familiar with Tampa Bay, it's not terribly dissimilar to Tampa Bay. And your approach is easy enough. The control tower picks you up as you come in. There was not a control tower in Manado, but here they guide you into the harbor, where you are assigned a berth for the float plane.
Excellent. Well, this is
at
our
this point,
stop.
it's getting in the evening. You've flown most of the day.
Yeah. Well, folks, this is our stop. Montana, anything in that book of yours? Any thoughts or ideas?
Oh well. What time is it? It's
about 7 p.m.
Maybe we just get a hotel and a dinner for the night.
That suits me just fine.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
You do find the Bamboo Palace, which, despite its name, is not made out of bamboo. It is actually it is American run, as a lot of the nicer places in Manila are. A lot of these buildings that I just showed you were constructed by Americans before the handover to the actual Philippine people. You certainly have the funds for it. It's not terribly expensive. And there is a restaurant in the establishment, so dinner is not a problem.
Excellent.
Montana Smith,
Yes, sir.
if you would roll me again an archaeology roll to see what you glean from this book.
All right.
And I will tell you what you have learned on your flight.
To paraphrase Speedy Boyd, I rolled a gentleman's 17.
A gentleman's 17. Do you know this story, the player who is portraying Montana Smith?
I know the story of Magellan, yeah. He was...
and you may use that story, yes.
Oh, all right, very good.
I
Yeah.
will correct you if anything is out of place. But go
Oh,
ahead.
all right, very good. So, so far it's just the basics. He was sailing around the world attempting to find an extra secret passage from the Atlantic to the Pacific. He was murdered in the Philippines, He and several members of his crew by warriors of Lapu Lapu. And his body was never found. It was taken as a trophy. Some people think they might have found the head, but never was confirmed.
Hmm.
We never saw that key again.
What did the key? Was it to something, or was it? What do we know?
Your book actually has no mention of the key.
Nothing.
Additional information you glean from that is that the island where he was slain is somewhere in the province of Cebu, which is the central group of islands of the Philippines. It is one of those islands. The book does not say specifically. Okay. He was killed on the beach. He had befriended one of the local tribes, one of the local kingdoms. It was he was known as a Raj. They called him a Raj mainly because they didn't know exactly where they were at all times. Well, he did know. He had been over here before, but originally so he was called a Raj. He converted him to Christianity. He decided to showcase his God's power by going and quelling an entire other tribe on a different island with only 45 men. And as you might imagine, despite his advanced arms and armor, they were overwhelmed and Magellan was killed. You are correct. His body was never found. Some people say that his head was removed and found somewhere, but there is no concrete evidence.
So,
oh, go ahead.
No. That's the story.
While we're in that restaurant there, I'm going to make a bartender roll to make nice with the bartender. And what I'm looking for are places that might be that might be a little shady that we might check out, and then other places where they're shady but we should stay away from.
So you're trying to determine what is a good hunting ground for illicit things without being too dangerous? Is that what you're telling me?
Without I imagine different levels. You don't want to without just straight up going into like a crime boss's territory. Just like, yeah, this place you can find some trinkets, or this place deals with stuff that's kind of stolen, but this place, like this one is stay away from this place. It's run by someone you don't want to mess with, that kind of thing.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a bartender roll.
And this is in addition. This is in addition to. Well, I know of Bayani. I don't know where he is though. Right?
Not exactly. No.
This is
you dealt with him remotely.
Yeah, I'm looking for the area. Like, I want to look for a safer place to mention his name than here.
All right, go give me a roll.
That is a 9.
The bartender doesn't seem to know a whole lot. He is of Philippine and Spanish descent, and he's trying to keep his nose clean with the Americans. But he does mention another a bar where he's heard things are a little more gray area'd, if you will. The Bull and the Shark.
Okay.
It is on the edge of the bad side of town, but not
perfect.
But not in dead center.
I tip him and let the rest of the gang know that we might want to. I know a few people who might be around this area. Bull and Shark might be a good place to look after, a little away from our creature comforts, but.
At this point, it's only 9:00 at night. and you have finished your meal.
I do not see why we should not go there. Sounds like a good plan to me.
It's worth a shot.
If you are all in agreement, the bartender gives you directions to the Bull and the Shark. It is unlike the American buildings. It is much more ramshackle, corrugated steel roof kind of establishment. Rattan woven in the walls to give it support. That sort of thing. Kind of open air, dark. There are still oil lamps here. There is electricity, but there's also oil lamps to help with the light, which is still smoky and dim. There's a certain greasiness to the environment as you pass in and you get to the Bull and the Shark, which shows indeed a little sign with a bull goring a shark is their sign.
Seems an unlikely matchup.
I've seen it. It's pretty cool. It doesn't last nearly very long. It's usually over before it really starts, but it's still very interesting. Very a lot more indoors than you think.
Yes, like one of the best bar or restaurants in Tijuana in the 90s. Indeed.
That's a very specific reference.
A very specific reference from Sir David Percival. As you enter, there are glances at the door by several. There's a couple of American, clearly American, sort of dock worker type guys, or maybe they're sailors. Very weathered, rough and tumble looking fellows. There's a number of Filipinos there who are very, very suspicious when they glance at you, almost as if to say, "Who are these people? They do not belong." And there's a gentleman at the bar. He is equally. He looks Spanish, and he looks very, very. There's a scar on his face, let's say, and you don't imagine it was from a work-related incident, more a work-related incident.
It looks like a 9-inch blade. Poor stitchery. I could have done better.
Well, you have walked in the door. What would you like to do? People are staring at you.
Why don't we make ourselves comfortable, get a drink, and try not to draw too much attention to us just yet?
Yeah.
Good call.
Although
Although I think a lot of attention has already been drawn to us.
There is a corner booth.
That looks perfect for us. Let's head over there.
There does not appear to be a server here of any sort.
I go up to the bar for my times.
Make mine a lemonade, please.
Oh Jesus!
Root beer.
Evans, I'm having what you're having.
We get a bottle of rot gut and four shot glasses.
The bartender says, "You are new here."
New to the location, but I've heard good things about this place.
Well, then I am sure they are a lie.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer than my place back home. It's called the Wharf Rat,
Oh, really? Where is that?
Darwin.
Darwin. Oh, I have not been to Australia in a long time.
We get a lot of passengers through Darwin.
Passengers, huh? Seemed like an interesting fellow. What can I get for you?
Bottle of rot gut and four shots, and also just keeping my eye open for a friend of mine.
Oh, you're looking for a friend. He's getting the shot glasses and a bottle of what looks like very cheap rum.
Yeah. I take I just, with the condensation in the bar, I just write LIM on the bar.
He glances down, looks at it, looks up at you. Your friend?
We've had dealings.
You know, I always like the banyan trees around here.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Is that would you like to see some trees?
Is that where I'm going to find Bayani?
He sighs. Where are you from originally?
Olympia, Washington.
American. It figures. Oh, subtlety is lost on so many. But you, my friend, I might be able to help you. I know a Bayani.
Well,
He puts the rum, the bottle of rum, and the 4 shot glasses in front of you.
Apologies, Lucas Evans, and I grab it and I pick them up. I said, and your name, my friend?
You can call me Perez.
Pleasure.
Indeed. It is cash on delivery.
I'll pay him.
No. That certainly pays for a bottle of rum and not much else.
Yeah, I no, where's that thing again? Yeah, I slip him the equivalent of $100, but however, whoever did that math of the last,
Right. He smiles and nods. Ah, yes. Bayani. Bayani, you can find him over on Corazon Street. And he is at number 382. It will be on the right from here on Corazon. When you arrive, knock 3 times and say Perez sent you.
thank you very much, and I give him an extra equivalent of $20 as a sign of respect.
He gives a nod and then goes back to his bar.
I put the shots down, pour them out. Root beer to Silk.
Cheers.
I
I've
should
got-
not partake, but merci beaucoup. Would you like
got-
mine?
Well,
Yes, please.
Ah, Monsieur Boyd, thank you.
Montana Smith, not so subtly, dashes his over his shoulder.
Whew.
Well, what shall we do?
What's the move?
finish the bottle.
The bottle did come with the lid.
Take the bottle with us.
By
all
all
right.
means. Lead the way, Monsieur Evans.
So, yeah, this place, we're gonna be going to Corazon Street, which of course means the heart. I speak many languages. such as Francaise. Again, anything? Any
No, monsieur.
Sacre Bleu.
Indeed.
You making your way to Corazon Street?
Yes.
This is definitely the bad side of town.
Nobody touch anything. You're going to get tetanus.
You are given the eyeball a lot as you enter the area, as if to say, what are they doing here? But no one stops you as you arrive at 382. It is a corrugated steel warehouse building. There is, in fact, a door.
Remind me what we know about this limb person.
Well, I've had dealings with them before. We've not met in person, but they've moved some things for me. I've moved some things for them. It's
So you think this could be a good lead into sort of a black market situation?
absolutely. I mean,
All right.
no offense to the good Dr. Smith, but I don't know if we're going to open up a book and just straight up find the key.
Well, let's see what happens here.
The more tools at our disposal.
They might listen. In a lot of these warehouses, sometimes you can find some pretty interesting books if that's your thing.
Well, let's see.
Top men. Very well.
Let's see what Liam has to say.
So I go up to the door. Perez sent me when prompted.
After a few moments, you hear a bolt slide back, and the door opens a crack. It's obviously still chained on the inside as well, and a face peers out. A Philippine gentleman of late middle age, probably in his 50s, pokes his head out, very lined. He's obviously spent a lot of time in the sun, and he looks out. Perez?
Mm-hmm.
And you?
Lucas Evans.
There's a moment, and then his eyes get big. Evans, Senor Evans, what are you doing here?
We're looking for something kind of unusual.
He looks around and sees that you have 3 people with you. This is an odd time. And he looks across. He looks over your shoulder. If any of you look back the direction he is looking, there are 4 rather large Samoan gentlemen. They are not directly threatening yet, but you see that they all have something large in their hand.
Gift baskets.
Like a length of pipe, like comically a giant wrench, a large gaff hook, and Perez says, "Perhaps you should come inside." And he undoes the chain and pulls open the door to let you in. He then closes it behind you, rechains it, and throws the bolt. Inside, it's just a big, large open space. There are many crates with tarpaulins thrown over some of them. There is a series of crates with a tarpaulin thrown over, a lamp, and a chair, a very simple wooden chair, which is obviously his desk. He says, please, Senor Evans, did not expect to meet you in person. You've done well by us, and hopefully we have done well by you.
And Mr. Lynn, I appreciate your hospitality. Those are friends of yours?
Very not. I did not recognize them, but I did not like the look of them.
Well, we won't. We don't want to bring any unwanted attention to your establishment. These are my associates, and I.
Very well. After he meets you all, what exactly is it that you are looking for? He gestures at the group of you.
Have you ever heard of the Key of Magellan?
The key, no. Ferdinand Magellan, yes.
Hmm.
Very famous oppressor here.
Yeah. I'm more of a Francis Drake guy myself. Apparently, he had a silver key on him, and that he sailed from Spain with. Had it on him when he died by the hands of Lapu Lapu, and
Lapu Lapu. He gets a faraway look in his eye.
yeah, and we're looking for it.
So you're looking for the body of Ferdinand Magellan, hoping to find this key?
It doesn't have to be the body.
Our understanding is that it may have turned up in a situation recently where someone is trying to move it through different channels or different markets.
Well, I have certainly never heard of such a thing. He died, and rumor has it that he was killed over on Mactan Island.
That's 500 miles from here.
Not quite so far, but it is not close. It is in the center of our islands. It is small and off of another larger island. It is, I will tell you exactly how far it is in a moment as I go to the Google.
Well, it sounds like we could be there in under a day if we needed to.
Oh, yes. Mactan Island is about 150 miles to the south.
Okay. That's all right.
We're right by a place called Rand McNally.
Yeah.
This, by the way, is commercial shipping lanes from 1924, if anyone is interested. So,
Okay.
I do not know how detailed your map is, but to the southeast of Manila, at a distance of about 150 miles, right almost dead center of the Philippine archipelago, is a place called Cebu City. And then right off of that, almost connected to it, is Mactan Island.
All right. Well,
So, how have you been, Bayani? How's business?
Business is, quite frankly, good.
It's good to hear it. The Americans giving you a window. I imagine there's things that people don't want to be found, and there's always a market for it.
During administrative changes, things always fall through the cracks.
Well, if you ever if you have any things that need to be not here and somewhere else, this is a heck of a favor for us. So you let me know.
I may take you up on that in the future. For now, we are well. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Well, considering the problem we had at the front door, is there a back way out of here?
I was going to recommend exactly that. If you are ready to go, come this way with me.
Merci.
He
Thanks
leads you
very
through
much.
the warehouse, large stacks of objects everywhere, tarpaulins here and there, manifests tucked in.
While we're doing that, hey Doc Smith, maybe you can take a look around real quick to see anything in here that we might need appraised, because I could also do some business real quick.
I'm not a treasure hunter. I'm completely legitimate.
How fascinating! Let's go.
Yeah. So, unless you are, endorsed by the University of Pennsylvania, I'm afraid I can't help you, Mr. Evans.
I believe he's trying to say that you should probably say that you are endorsed by the University of Pennsylvania.
Is there something wrong with your eye? What's
Nah, just get a little twitchy.
Well, I'm. Yes, I am. I teach literature. I teach.
Damn it! What do you want me to look at?
You pick a crate.
Alright.
Perez is with you, by the way. He's standing right there. He's leading you through these things.
Can I look?
Sure, if anything catches your fancy. I do not mind doing a little business.
Lim or Perez?
Lim? You mean Lim?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said Perez. Yes. Bayani Lim. Dr. Sabine, give me a roll, would you?
How many dice would you like?
For your doctoral profession.
Yes. 18, please.
There's a lot of medical supplies in this warehouse. A lot of them that say property of the U.S. government.
What kind of medical equipment? Just
All sorts. There are. You see, there's an iron lung packed up. There's a number of batches of penicillin. There is, which is relatively new at this point, I believe. There is, alcohol swabs, all sorts of things. There's a large crate that says methamphetamines upon it.
Huh. That is very interesting. I think we should go, please. I think we should go right now, please. Please, let us go. Right now.
You're right, Doc. What's happening?
Lim notices you and says, "Oh, are you interested?" Then he gestures at that crate. He make you a deal.
Non, maintenant. Merci. Merci beaucoup.
As
Yeah,
we
let's go.
as we start to walk away, I'm like, I pull out like a $10 bill and I'm like, yeah, give me some of that for just take it for the road.
Of course. He gets you a small little case of them. There's probably 100 capsules in there. Here you are. It's
Thanks,
a
my
pleasure
friend.
doing business with you.
Thanks, my friend.
You're welcome.
Where do you think you got the name Speedy?
I'm sorry.
You get to the back. You get to the back door, and he says, "I would head straight back to your hotel from here if I were you."
Thank you again.
Roger Dodger.
Close.
Did I see anything cool in there? Like
no, it
the
was
Stray Ark of the Covenant, anything like that?
No. It's he's not dealing in antiquities. He's dealing in surplus U.S. goods, medical supplies. There's a couple of disassembled vehicles. Nothing antique or ancient. He's all about the here and now.
All right.
He opens up the door to a dark back alley, and once you're out, you hear him close and slide a bolt behind him.
I say we get out of here as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Copy that.
Very well. Mr. Evans,
Yes.
you are the most adroit at negotiating seedy underbellies of towns. Give me a roll.
That is 18.
18. You are fairly certain that at one point you were being shadowed and followed, but you managed to make a couple of ducks and turns and elude whoever. You never got a glimpse of it. You just had this feeling that there was several people behind you probably looking for you, but you managed to make your way back to the Bamboo Palace. There you are. You have returned safely. And you have a destination, Mac-10
Alright.
Island.
Yeah.
I shall
Shall
be.
we get a good night's sleep and depart first thing in the morning?
I think that would be an excellent idea.
Yep, absolutely.
Very well. Does anyone want to do anything with the rest of the night, or shall we proceed to breakfast?
Oh, I distribute all. Do the beds in the hotel have the mosquito netting?
Here, yes, they do here.
Excellent. Okay.
The Americans have made sure that they have recognized the danger of malaria, and they do have mosquito netting here.
Ah bon.
Very well. Morning dawns, and it is to your plane.
Yeah, I did. I got a good night's sleep last night. Well rested. I know the. Do we figure out what is the mileage on this? Like how far?
150.
150 miles. Oh, that's nothing.
Easily within your range.
Oh yeah.
And probably only about a 2-hour flight.
Yep, exactly.
Très bien.
So great. Welcome aboard, Mr. Evans. If you could climb out on the wing and turn that propeller for me.
Ah, you did that one already.
Ah, he's all right.
It's
Very
Montana's turn.
All right.
Yeah.
Pourquoi pas moi?
Next
You
time.
can do it
Next time,
tomorrow.
Très bien.
Very well. You fly over the Philippine Islands. It is again a relatively short jaunt, only about 2 hours. Off the island of Leyte, and situated next to Cebu City, there is an island that is about 2 miles long and about a mile wide. That is known as Mac-10 Island. There is in fact, as you consult your charts, there is a bay that is in fact called Magellan Bay on the northeast side.
We should have just looked for that. We really should have, if only we had a map.
I don't know.
If only you had a map.
Well,
Landing there, it's a bit overgrown at this moment, and there's a large central mass that lies on a northeast to southwest axis like this, that is about 2 miles long and about a mile wide, and then there is a single projection that sticks out to the north and east, and that is the bay in there. It's a relatively shallow bit of land. There's not much habitation on the island itself, even though it is relatively close to the mainland. The main island. There's not much to the main island either at this point in history. So you'd just be approaching and landing on the sea.
yeah. There's got to be space in the bay for me, right?
Oh, there's nothing else in the bay. It's
Right.
just an empty bay. There's a sandy beach. You can see that there is a bit of a reef that is about 150 yards offshore that basically parallels the beach. Montana Smith, reading that book, Magellan, when he initially landed, his landing boats got stuck on that sandbar, and his men waded in from there. in about thigh-deep water.
All right. Well, if we, good thing we're in a plane, so we're not going to get stuck on that.
You can actually, Speedy, you judge that you could probably land inside that between the reef and the beach. It looks like it's deep enough. Thigh-deep water is about deep enough for your pontoons.
Yeah, great.
However, you will need to make a piloting roll to do so.
Very well.
Or you can land without a piloting roll on the far side of the reef-like area.
I'm gonna give it a piloting roll. See how we do on this.
Yeah, let's see how we go. Come on.
Show it off. Here we come, ladies and gentlemen.
It crashes, everyone dies. All right.
Huh.
I'm
Thank
even.
you so much. I'd like to tell I'll be at the.
I'm gonna use a help, no less.
Oh, that's probably wise.
Yeah. But I'm playing it off like super cool. Like, hey, watch this, you guys. All right, okay. That would be a 16.
You relatively smoothly and easily land in between the sandbar reef area and the beach line. Again, the water is about thigh deep, but you manage to get in safely about 40 yards from the shoreline, 120 feet, so relatively close. But there are no jetties or anything. You will most likely have to wade the rest of the way in. Luckily, again, the water at this point is only slightly over knee deep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and I'll roll us in as close as I possibly can, even if it means touching bottom a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get about 40 yards away from the shore because of little rolling swells. You don't want to get too close.
Mm-hmm.
Ah bon?
The water itself is relatively
Is it
clear.
high tide or low tide?
You're at high tide at this point. At low tide, you would have had to probably land on the other side of the reef because it would have been too shallow.
Très bien.
I'm just thinking about an exit.
Who's got the astronomical and/or navigational wherewithal? Speedy would probably have that.
What's the question? What?
When the tide is going to go out, how long do you have before it becomes an issue trying to leave?
That's a great question. What do I think?
Yeah, go ahead and roll your piloting skill again. You're used to this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have charts and such.
14.
Oh, you figure you probably got a good 3 or 4 hours.
Great.
Before you have to start worrying about it.
All right. Keep that in mind, folks, as we enjoy our shore time, our shore excursions.
If for whatever reason we need to be here longer, could you just pull the plane onto the beach?
Yeah, if we had to, it could pull us up on the beach. That will significantly slow down an exit should we need to make one in a hurry.
I don't think the warriors of Lapu Lapu are going to be coming after us.
All right.
Is it?
We all know Mr. Pym, right? We all have met that man. We all know we're doing something.
Quite.
Come on.
You never know with Save, to be honest.
I'm with Evans on this. We need to be ready for anything.
I've done work for Pym. I've done work for Save, but I'm not exactly believing in all of that hocus pocus mumbo jumbo.
You'll be fine.
I always am.
What was it? The guy who used to run the amusement park when you got involved last time? Okay. All right.
So how are you proceeding to go to shore?
Yeah, I will pull the plane in as close as I can. And we'll wade ashore, I guess, right?
I have my medical bag and I jump out and I go.
I have my knapsack and my satchel and jump out.
I have all of that and the bottle of rum that I still have.
Day drinker.
You do have an anchor, Speedy. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's what you do. So securing the plane is relatively simple matter. All right. So Dr. Sabine jumps in the water first and starts wading towards shore, followed by Dr. Smith, Mr. Evans, and last in the back, after securing the plane, Mr. Boyd. I would like you all to make a perception roll, please.
How many dice are we rolling on this one?
Let's see. I will allow each, because of your respective professions, I will allow you each to roll 4 dice.
Oh,
Nice.
When I do get out, I have my rifle ready.
Okay.
Rolled a 14.
All
I
right.
rolled,
17.
I
10.
also rolled a 17.
17 buddies. All right.
Dr. Sabine, you are the water is at about mid-calf by the time you're about to stride on shore. The others are strung out behind you in a distance, and as you turn to look to see where they are, at the same time, Petey Boyd, in the back of the line, you see several fins break the surface and start making a beeline toward you. Everyone will roll me initiative now. Let's see. Speedy can roll 4. I would say.
All right.
I'd say pretty much everybody else would probably roll 3.
Oh la la.
12.
I rolled a 5.
Oh my goodness. Doc.
I also rolled a 12.
Doc is in the shallowest of the water.
Oh, well, I used my.
What did you roll, Smith?
Should have used a help.
I rolled a 12.
12. And Speedy?
11.
And Evans?
12.
12. Okay. So that'll be Evans, Smith, Boyd, and Clement.
Oui.
Very well. The first shark strikes at Speedy.
Sharks.
Knee deep water. Okay. All right.
Yeah. You're just right around. Yes. Happy Shark Week, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Slightly over thigh, over knee. A brownish gray, sleek form, probably only about 6 feet long, but it dives directly at your legs from the water. It torpedoes through the water, coming in from deeper water, and tries to strike at you. If you would, what would be your defensive?
I am an experienced swimmer.
I will give you. That's 3 dice then, right?
Yeah.
Very well. Roll 3 dice. You do have helps.
Great. I'm not going to use a help just yet. I think this whole thing is catching him a little bit off guard. He feels like this is not normal shark behavior. And it's like, what the crap? A 12. That's pretty good.
A 12. You are bit, sir, in the calf.
Son of a.
It only manages to catch you as it streaks past you with its lower jaw for 2 points of damage, tearing open a gash in your leg, but not latching on. He could not manage to do that as he streaks past you. There are 3 others in the vicinity, but this was the lead shark. For those of you at home, hit points are determined by their physical trait that best matches up with whatever traits that they do have. So I imagine for Speedy with his swimmer, experienced diver, he would use that trait. They get 6 points times 3, because that's normally what he would roll. So he has 18 hit points normally. A bodybuilder would have a 4 dice to roll in that trait would have 24. So that gives you a rough idea of how many hit points our characters have. So you take 2 points of damage as the shark streaks past you. I would like you to roll your swimmer again, because you brought up a very interesting point.
That I'm so good at it that I just dodge away without suffering any ill consequences?
No, but
12.
12. You are correct, sir. This is not normal shark behavior. Glancing down as it streaks past you, these are bull sharks.
Huh.
They are normally solitary hunters. There are 4 of them.
Yeah.
That is very not normal. Very well. Evans, the turn is yours.
Well, I said I have the my rifle ready. Where are we all in terms of being laid out?
You are roughly in a line. The head of the line is Dr. Sabine. Dr. Sabine is almost on the shore. In fact, in a turn of movement, they will be on the shore. Followed by Dr. Smith, then followed by you, and behind you, Evans, is Speedy.
Okay. I turn around and aim. That's what I do. That's the thing that you guys can do in this game. Do you guys know? Do you guys know you can do that in this game? Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
There are 4 sharks. What are you aiming at?
The shark.
There are 4 of them.
You said there's one that's bigger than the others, or there's
Nope,
one
they're all roughly the same size. They're all about 6
the
foot.
closest one to me.
All right, very well. You are aiming at the one who appears to be bearing down on you, as a matter of fact. Very well. Dr. Smith?
All right. How much of this have I actually noticed and seen?
The yelling and the screaming, you know what's going on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I am crying out in pain.
How far?
Yelling obscenities.
How far am I to Speedy, and how far am I to shore?
You are about equidistant.
All right. I pull the pistol.
All right.
And take aim at the shark nearest to Speedy.
All right. Very well.
Is that the one that bit him?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It is very near to him. It just bit him.
Yeah.
Son of a you.
Speedy, your turn.
Am I closer to shore or my plane?
It's a damn fine question. You are closer to shore.
All right. Kind of yelling to everybody, out of the water, get out of the water. And then while trudging towards shore as quickly as I can, I would also like to take a shot at this guy.
Very good. Go ahead.
The shark that bit me. I don't have any specific firearm traits. I do carry a M1911 tucked in the back of my waistband.
All right.
Good classic gun from this era and this part of the world. A 10.
A 10. You miss, but you got surprisingly close.
Great.
Because they rolled for crap. So surprisingly close. And you are making your way towards shore at the same time.
Yep. Yeah.
Very good. Probably next turn you'll be able to get onto dry land.
Okay.
And safety. Dr. Sabine.
I run as fast as I can to shore.
Yep. Easily done.
And I want to first secure my bag. And if it's possible, there is a pocket in the side where I have a small tarpaulin. It's sort of, I want to say maybe a meter by a meter. And I would like to put that out onto the sand.
Very good. You set up your little triage area very well. Excellent. And you are safe on dry land at this point.
Merci.
Their turns. Their respective turns. The one of them attacks Lucas Evans. So if you could give me a dodge out of the way kind of roll.
I would like to use.
Remember, everyone, you still have helps.
I would like to use a help, please.
Very well.
That's a 12.
A 12. You are smacked. You dodge the bite, but the tail smacks your knee, sending it sideways in an unpleasant angle. You also take 2 points of damage. Another one goes at Montana Smith.
All right. And rolling a dodge, or
Yes.
all right.
You can roll 3 for that.
Roll 3. I'm going to use a help as well.
Very good.
I got a whopping 14.
Your luck is such that you trip and stumble backwards as you are looking behind you, removing your leg from the path of attack at the last minute by pure dumb luck.
Removing your leg is a dangerous thing to say when we're dealing with sharks.
This is true. This is very true. The one that was after Dr. Sabine turns and circles back around. The one that attacks Speedy, though sharks can turn almost on a dime, it still takes a moment for it to turn around to figure out where you are. As a result, those are all of their turns. Lucas Evans, it is your turn. You've been aiming at the shark.
Kapow.
Very well. You may roll an extra die for aiming. But again, like a help, just take the highest.
Yep. Oh, okay. 12.
A 12. You hit the shark. However, because of its depth in the water stops bullets very quickly.
Yeah.
You might have seen movies where people are getting shot in the water. That does not actually happen. It only goes down a foot or two into the water. However,
I just assumed since we saw the fin and it's right there. Yeah.
It is shallow enough that you do hit it, but not for nearly as much as you would have liked.
Sure.
But you do hit it, startling it, and it sort of veers off to the side with a slight trail of blood coming out of it. With that, Dr. Smith.
Did I lose by getting stumbled backwards? Did I lose the aim on the one?
No, not at all.
Right. Great. So rolling to shoot that one.
All right.
How does a 15 do for the one that was closest to Speedy?
It does actually surprisingly well. You shoot it, and the bullet goes into its head. It thrashes maniacally for a few moments, and then rolls belly up and continues to thrash.
Bull sharks. I hate these guys.
Boyd.
Boyd aims for just a half second at the shark that was attacking him earlier, and then realizes I'm not very good at this. I'm just getting out of the water, and I run for shore.
All right, you reach Dr. Sabine. Dr. Sabine, Speedy tumbles onto the beach right at your feet.
I go into my medical bag and I take a little bit of distilled water and some carbolic soap and I wash my hands very quickly and then I put on some surgical gloves.
Very good. You glove up.
Wow, that is service, Doc. That is service.
I have done this many times before.
All right.
Very well. The shark turns around at Evans, and it will be circling around once again in a moment. The one that Dr. Smith also. However, the one that was attacking Sabine is available to attack one of the two of you. Who's it going to be? It is going to be Lucas Evans. So please roll me a dodging type skill once again.
That's 9, friends.
That's 9. This time, you get knocked over by its rush and fall into the water. You only sustain a point of damage, but you are now prostrate in the
Oh
water.
God! Oh God!
You have prostrated yourself in the water.
With a shark? Oh my God!
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, no.
Oh.
This is the
Bend
paradigm of danger.
Bend over and take it.
And with that, Lucas Evans, it is your turn.
I get up,
All right, and
try to get out of the way.
all right, are you going towards shore now?
Yeah.
All right, you scramble your way into shallow water, even shallower. It's only a couple inches deep at this point. You think you're pretty well safe here. Dr. Smith.
Is there any reason for me not to make my way towards shore?
You tell me. You're the only one still standing in dangerous water.
All right. I'm gonna take my chance and run towards shore.
Very good. You get up next to Evans, and with that, you have all extricated yourself from the water. As you look back, you see the other 3 sharks descend upon the first shark that was shot by Dr. Smith, quickly tear it to pieces and scatter. Meanwhile, Dr. Sabine is addressing the gash on Speedy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Roll me your Dr. Wood.
Maybe.
Ow! Ow!
Yes. That is a solid 20.
My goodness. In record time, you sew up his wound, stop the bleeding, give him a quick topical that numbs the pain, and help him back on his feet. Speedy, she is so good, you regain a hit point.
Doc, thanks. I think it's better than when we started.
You're very welcome. But first, I reach into my bag and I take out a small pill bottle, and I measure out 5 pills specifically, and I put them into a little packet, and I give it to him, and I say, I want you to take one of these every day for the next 5 days. You understand me?
Yeah.
It is an antimicrobial that will help you stave off infection.
Wow. All right.
Meanwhile, Evans is lying on the beach with a partially dislocated knee.
Yes, I shall call it out.
My prostate.
This is not this kind of adventure.
No.
Evans.
No.
Oh.
Would you like me to look at your knee, please?
It's the left one.
So I go over and I assess his poor knee.
All right, go ahead, give me a roll.
16.
16. You have 2 options. You can stabilize it like it is. He'll be able to get around with a little bit of pain and a slightly decreased maneuverability. Or you can attempt to knock it back into place, you determine, which might solve the problem completely or could mess it up worse.
I will leave the decision up to you, Mr. Evans. Do you trust me or not?
I pop the cork from the bottle. I take a swig and I said, I've never been in more capable hands.
I'm going to use a help for this one.
Goddamn right.
Very well.
Okay.
She's really good.
Very good.
All right. Okay. 15.
How much?
15.
15. The rum doesn't help the searing pain that shoots through the knee, but it does pop back into place. There is a lot of pain. but you can move it again. You do not regain any hit points, however.
I take out a compression bandage and I want to wrap it just in case.
Very good. Give it a little support.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
He
you.
is wincing in pain.
Oh, you don't be such a... Everyone is such a BB.
What else do you got in that
That's-
bag, Doc?
That's not pain.
Just standard issue. Don't worry about it. Plenty of other things. Okay. Everybody okay?
Fine.
Never better. But you guys all agree that was super weird, right? Like that's not.
I do
Sharks
not know
don't.
much about
Also,
sharks.
we're gonna have to deal with another issue to deal with when we're going back to the plane. So maybe we take a. Is there any way we can take a moment just to clear a path back? What are you?
Well, look-
what are you thinking?
We
How
just-
would we clear a path back?
Get rid of the other sharks that are in that, like these sharks that are in the water.
I thought they scattered.
They scattered,
Oh, they did scatter. Okay.
which
Yeah.
also very unusual.
Yeah.
But since when are sharks attracted to planes?
Yeah, there's a lot
It's a
about
very
this.
sexy
that's,
plane.
Also, I do not know how. I'm not a shark expert by any means, but I've never seen a shark with another shark.
We just shot off a couple rounds. I'm gonna make a perception check.
Go ahead.
Nine.
You're still in a lot of pain. You're
Yeah.
not noticing too much. Yeah, it's pretty much the sharks are gone. You don't hear anything else on the island, even after the
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 plane
gunshot.
landing. Yeah.
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 well, and the plane did land. Anything
Yeah.
around here would have heard a plane land. Speedy did note earlier, as we mentioned, that these sharks are not behaving like normal. Bull sharks are normally solitary creatures, solitary hunters especially.
If there is anything that I know, it's that when animals behave badly, there is something afoot.
Certainly something different.
There's no law that says sharks can't play basketball.
Basketball?
What?
I just that drum is very strong and my leg hurts very
Yeah,
much.
Yeah,
he's in a
alright.
lot. He's in a lot of pain.
So, would I say, do I think it is safe for him to use his leg?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
He has mobility restored.
Excellent.
Very well. And so, as you finish tidying up here on the beach, perhaps the very beach, in all likelihood, the very beach where Ferdinand Magellan died back in, I believe, 1519. I'm sorry, 1521. It is midday, and the island stretches out before you, covered in vegetation and some rocky hills, and not much else that you can see in your sightline. And as you ponder your next move, the ominous jungle awaits you. The sharks await you to get back to your plane. And with that, we will call it an evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone who's joined us, all of our friends, good people, one and all, thank you so much for tuning in here to Gothic Horror Gaming here on Nat 21 Adventures. This is part one of what will likely be 4 or 5 episodes as we continue to search for Magellan's Silver Key. Before I go any further, I would like to take a moment and introduce our players. So we're going to start off with Lucas Evans, because he's right there for me.
Hello. I'm Steve O'Dockerson, and yeah, hey everybody. It's good to be back.
Do you got anything going on right now?
Why, yes, I do. I'm currently at the Sterling Renaissance Festival up here in Oswego, New York, where I am Royston Badgernoose, Sheriff of Warwick. And I'm going to be here until August 13th, and then on to, after that, the Pennsylvania Renaissance Festival, where beloved Scamp Hob the Troll will be entertaining dozens.
Yes, and you can find your albums on
Yes.
Bandcamp right there.
howthetroll.bandcamp.com. If you've ever wondered what Christmas music sounds like from a troll in July, now's your chance to listen to the classic number, I ate 3 sheets of gingerbread at the Costco.
Very good. I can't wait. Excellent. We have also next to him, we have Speedy Pete Boyd.
Hello, friends. I am Ryan Gelotti, and when I'm not wearing ridiculous outfits that make me happy, I am half of the Buckle and Swash comedy sword fighting show.
You don't wear ridiculous outfits that make you happy in that?
No, I do actually. Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
okay, yeah.
I just ridiculous outfits are my thing. And yeah, we're comedy sword fighting next at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, opening I believe August 19th. Yeah,
It is.
we will be there the first 5 weekends. Come see me try to stab, not Steve-O, but the other guy next to him. Yeah, him.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve-O.
Very good. And below that, we have Dr. Sabine.
Sir?
Hello.
It is great to be back again on the Gothic Horror Gaming channel. I am a member of Chased Treasure, and you will see me in Louisiana, but that's in a while. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Excellent. And we also have Dr. Montana Smith.
Hey, I'm Dan Kostelik. I am your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare this weekend at the Maine Renaissance Fair. And then I'll be at the Connecticut Renaissance Fair starting, I was going to say Labor Day weekend, but that says it right there, September 2nd through October 15th. And it's a lot of fun. And you can go buy my new album also on Bandcamp if you want to hear what it's like to have a romantic duet about King Richard and Henry Bolingbroke fighting each other. That's on that album there too.
All kinds of wonderful musical stylings. And everyone, I am the Glue Master. My name is Tom Zadoyko. I am the other half of the Buckle and Swash show. I will be attempting to stab Speedy in the head repeatedly and often at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair for the first 5 weekends. And then for the final 6 weekends, you can find me as Uzi the Mud Beggar with the Mud Skippers in the Mud Pit. So I'll be at the PA Ren Fair for the entire run of that festival. I will also be one of the people down in Louisiana for our Louisiana tour. Speaking of segues, like to thank our sponsors, Ren Adventures, and their next one is, in fact, in New Orleans, December 5th through the 9th. RenAdventures.com, game in the city, and then tour all sorts of cool stuff, including some of the cemeteries and things. And then it culminates in a visit to the Louisiana Renaissance Fair, where you can see the likes of me and also Katie Hauser, Dr. Sabine will be there as well performing. So you can definitely check us out, as well as Dr. Montana Smith will be there as Shakespeare approved. So you can see 3 of the 5 people you've seen tonight down at that renadventures.com. Also like to thank 3DTU, our good friends over there. Check them out for gaming supplies, dice towers, dice boxes, journals, that sort of thing, 3dtu.org. And of course, I myself and my wife, Handler Z, who's in the background, have our book, Dare, a collection of short fiction and poetry. She wrote the stories. I narrate them on the audiobook version. And check us out on our Patreon at Quill and Quote. You actually have to type it in /Quill and Quote, as our material is of a rated R nature very often. So please type the whole thing in. You can also, we're going to have a baby. If you're feeling in the giving spirit, your Christmas in July, you can always go to our gift registry right there at Target for the baby Z, who is due September 28th.
Hooray.
I don't think have I missed anything? I don't think so.
I can speak, I promise. It's the French accent. I will be doing the Patreon AMA this Friday evening. So if you are part of that,
all right. Yes, this Friday evening, Patreon for Nat 21. The Patreon folks, I could do an Ask Me Anything. So go ahead and check that out. Oh, yes. And as Ryan Speedy has pointed out, 3 of the 5 of us will also be at the PA Ren Fair. So myself, Hob the Troll, and the other half of Buckle and Swash. You can see the 3 of us there. So if you're out and about at Renaissance fairs, you can certainly spot us here and about. Be sure to check out our Nat 21 Adventures Discord. It's over there in the comments on the side. I'll throw it up here real quick just so you can see it. There's our Discord. Join the conversations. We do a lot of talk about all that. So be sure to check that out as well. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Next week, we will pick up where we left off on the island of Macten. I assume that's how you pronounce it. I am not very, very good with the pronunciations. So if I get
sound like it's a
anything
football
wrong
conference.
as we're exploring the Philippines, please forgive me. I am just a suburban white guy, so I don't know what to do. Oh, yes, and we have a Grand Saints game tomorrow night for those of you who are patrons of the Nat 21 channel. Be sure to check that out as well. Friends, as always, thank you so much for joining us, and have a lovely evening. Good night, everyone.
Merci.